Good morning. Welcome back to Empower Your Voice, Unlocking Your Podcast Potential with your host, Lillian S. Cauldwell, CEO/President of Passionate World Talk Radio Network, Educate, Enlighten, Entertain. We are going to continue talking about contracts. Side note, if you want to learn how to write these contracts that pertain particularly to you, or to your particular podcast and or program, you need to be included and come to my training courses. Interested in a training course with me, Lillian Cauldwell? Text 484-364-1032, name, phone number, email, and I will let you know what the cost of the program is. And you can also email me at pwrnetworkllc@gmail.com. Again, name, phone number, email, and you're interested in taking a training course with me. Now to the meat of the tip. We're still talking about contracts. On most podcast programs, you will not be asked to sign a podcast interview contract. It's called a podcast guest release form. And on it, there are details that the individual internet talk radio station or the individual podcast platform, like Podbean, for example, will have you sign off on, not only to protect them in legal matters, but to protect you, the host. So what do you have to be aware of? They usually ask for your name, your address, and of course, the all-important phone number, preferably your cell phone number, since most people, I'm not saying all, but most people have a cell phone. And then they go on to say what your appearance date is going to be, because this is proof that you have scheduled and confirmed your appointment. Every time I'm booked for a podcast appearance, I put it on my calendar. I use Google. There are other calendars out there one can use. I also have a physical calendar book where I put down name, rank, and serial number of the information that I'm going to need to make sure I show up. It's called common courtesy. And if you can't make it, you give your podcast host 24 hours. Now, some will charge you a fee, like the doctor's office. If you don't bother calling them up and telling them you won't be able to make the appointment, you will be charged 25, 35, 50 bucks. Or the bank who tells you that if your check bounces, you would have to pay a $35 fee. Well, some podcast hosts have gotten tired of waiting an extra 5 or 10 minutes for their podcast guests to arrive. So in defense, they now demand that you deposit money with them to hold and confirm your guest appearance date and time. And if you do not show up, you forfeit your deposit. It's one way of them protecting themselves. So once you filled out the top part of the form, you then say, it then goes on to saying the name of the program and the host. For example, you have agreed to the recording and distribution of reproduction of the guest voice and performance as part of the media program entitled Lest We Forget Historical with your show's host, Lillian S. Cauldwell. And then after that, they explain what you need to understand, that the content belongs to you, but everything else belongs to the platform in which you are using to get your word out about you. Make sure you read it very carefully. Although my brother tells me as a lawyer, you cannot sign your rights away, one should always reread Again, if you want to learn how to create a podcast guest contract, you need to take the course. And that's my tip for the day. Now, you can always go over to Google and do your homework and ask for free contracts that have already been written up by lawyers to see how and what they write and what they stipulate between you and your guest. But this is one way for you as the podcast host to protect yourself. Also, if you want to, on April 2nd, which is next week, Tuesday at 7 p.m., and April 5th, Friday at 4 p.m., I am offering Passionate World Talk Radio Network offers 2 free master classes, Empower Your Voice, Unlocking Your Podcasting Potential. Down below is the link where you can sign up, or you can go over to education.passionateworldtalkradio.com/masterclass and sign up either for April 2nd or for April 5th. There will be a transcript, but you need to ask for it. Shoot, you're the type of person who not only needs to hear it, but you need to read it at the same time. And on April 19th, entrepreneur, author of the series The Golden Nuggets, Vicki Esther Chang, will be interviewed at 9:30 a.m. Eastern by Jeannie White, station manager, and Lillian Cauldwell, creative officer at Passionate World Talk Radio. You can see it live on youtube.com/PWR Network, PW Talk Radio, on education.passionateworldtalkradio.com/education, and also on facebook.com/Passionate World Radio, and all the other social media places where we post. Thank you very much for joining me this morning. Stay tuned. Tomorrow is Easter Sunday. I will probably not post a tip. We'll be back on Monday. Thank you very much and have a great weekend.